Three pieces connected together this morning. Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen Podcast, episode number 60. That's 60. My name is Tony B. Driving alongside me is David B. Timmy D. Today's topics. Hall of Famer Camilla is on the line with us. We will catch up with her and see what's new in her world. Topic number one, trucking recession around the corner. Things look bleak in the trucking industry. Number two, David's got that with truckload rates. Remember, we're just three Americans discussing topics that affect the transportation industry. Our views, the views of us three, are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any transportation provider or any business entity that uses a transportainment provider. We do it, Tim, for what?
Transportainment.
Boom. That's right, transportainment. You can catch us on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Google podcast section, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. I can tell them all, but just Google us and you will find us. And we're obviously on ShipsGonnaHappen.com, our home base too. All you have to do is Google us and you will find us. David B., happy Saturday morning to you, my friend.
Good Saturday morning of the Easter weekend to the both of you guys. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. Tony B's yard is looking immaculate. Spring has sprung around the area, and it's just a good Ship's Gonna Happen morning. It's been one of those Ship's Gonna Happen weeks this week, and this week's show is sponsored by The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis. I was there quite a few times this week, and I got 3 times scheduled for next week. Last night, I was in there Thursday. I was in there by myself. There was a little bit of a lull between when my lunch left, and there was another guy I was going to meet up. 73-year-old lady walks in, sits down at the middle of the bar, and says, I'm stopping in here for a couple beers because traffic is bad. And I'm like, all right,
nice.
Let's talk about that. And so she stayed around. I bought her 3 beers and sent her on her way. It's not that we're condoning drinking and driving. Don't anybody take it the wrong way. But anyway, I was there last night. Sean was working. Tracy and I went down for a nice dinner, and it was a good way to unwind the week. David Meek was playing at the piano. So The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis. Great place to go to unwind and kind of let loose for after a Ship's Gonna Happen week. Timmy D, how are you, my friend?
What's going on, boys? Good morning. A little brisk out for mid-April, but Easter weekend, so Good Friday yesterday, and it's always a slow day on the trucking side with a lot of business taking off for Good Friday, which is good to see. And happy Easter to everybody. Happy Easter to Camilla on the line, and that's all I got. Tony B, what's up?
Good morning, fellas. Camilla, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Good morning. Happy Easter, everyone.
Isn't every Friday a Good Friday? That's what I kind of.
Happy Friday.
Not as good as yesterday.
There we go.
Camilla, how you doing in West Virginia?
It's good. It's a beautiful day here, and we're supposed to get snow one day next week. So spring has not sprung yet.
So what do you have planned for the Easter weekend, Camilla?
We're having Easter today, and then our daughter is leaving to go to South Carolina later to the beach because she sucks at 16, and then our parents stay back and work.
And so no beaches.
And that's it.
No beaches in West Virginia that she could find.
What'd you say?
No beaches in West Virginia that she could find.
No, just some mountains and some beautiful lakes, though. And
okay.
rivers.
What are you fixing for Easter?
But the water's a little too cold. We've had snow we had snow last week. The water's still too cold. So
don't you hate that?
Dipping around here. I love it. I actually love it. I'm from the pits of hell in the south where it's 102 on a good day.
Yeah.
So I like the cold weather now. I am too old for the heat.
What are you fixing us for Easter?
What am I? We're doing turkey and ham. We just put a turkey on the rotisserie thing, and then we've got ham, macaroni and cheese, asparagus, mashed potatoes, corn, green beans, homemade yeast rolls.
Like a good dinner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good supper.
Yeah.
Or you say supper or dinner?
Dinner. I'm from the south, so it's dinner.
Oh, well, okay.
So now when you do your ham, do you do pineapple and all that and cherries on that?
No, I do a version of a honey baked ham, so I do honey and brown sugar.
Okay. Ooh. You don't put pineapple on your pizza, do you?
I do sometimes, yeah.
It's not bad, David. You gotta step out, man.
Hang up on her. Jesus.
What is wrong
David
with
doesn't have an opinion in this. He has given me heck all week. I had to call him to make appointments, and he has given me heck all week.
Yeah, so yesterday we were quote unquote technically off, and then so she texts and calls or tries to call, and about a couple hours later I finally respond. I go, "You do remember I was supposed to be off today?" So
yeah, that's what I get. I'm supposed to be off.
Her.
But,
Jesus,
freight doesn't stop.
No,
freight
never.
No, that's so true.
I agree with that. So Camilla,
I don't get a day off. I worked until about 9 o'clock last night.
Yeah. So hey, since last time we spoke, I don't know if you're interested in talking about this or not, but since last time we spoke, you kind of went through a little bit of a health scare. Can you give us an update on what happened and kind of where you're at with that now?
With healthcare?
With your health scare.
My health scare. Oh no, I'm good. We've come to find out, believe it or not, it's not really my heart. It is. I've seen so many doctors and spent probably $3,000 of our own money on all this, but it's my tonsils.
What?
I have very enlarged tonsils that go down the back of my throat, which I stopped breathing at night. I stopped breathing 64 times an hour.
Wow.
What?
And so I have to have my tonsils out, but we have to address this, which makes my heart go into survival mode at night. And it's so worn out from doing that.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, this is like, I cried the other day in the doctor's office. I'm like, this is really all my tonsils. So I have to have a tonsillectomy at 46, maybe 12. Who knows how old I am?
Right.
And my husband just said to get out. And
oh my gosh.
So yeah, that's it. It's not really my heart. After all, my heart is just always in keeping me alive mode because I stopped breathing. My oxygen level drops down to 20 at night.
Well, you got to have a heart first, right?
Yeah, and I have that. I have one, I promise.
Not so sure about that one.
So should everyone just have their tonsils removed? This really scares me.
Like mine are so enlarged. She said there's not even a scale for, like, they go down the back of my throat. And who found this out at 46?
Right.
Like, how many times did we say as children and go to the dentist? But just at 46, they found out it's honestly just my tonsils that need to be removed. Incredible. But we have to address, I have to wear like a sleep mask for 30 days to make sure that once they take them out, that I will be able to breathe properly.
Okay.
Yeah. So that it's not my heart, it's my tonsils.
Right. So initially you thought it was a heart attack or something, correct?
Yes. I initially thought everyone said that I had a heart attack. But my heart is, like I said, just always constantly beating fast. And it just cramped that day. And that's it. I eventually just had a heart cramp.
Wow. Okay. So, but you're doing better now. And I'm
doing great. I'm actually doing wonderful.
It's got to be a relief for you to find out that you just got to, at 12 years old, you finally got to get your tonsils out, right?
I know. But I could eat ice cream for like 2 weeks and I can't work. I can't. Someone I work aside of every day in and out. I mean, like we're sidekicks. I was like, I can't talk for 2 weeks. He's like, my prayers have been answered.
so
you took the words right out of my mouth.
I'm going to work from home. I just won't be able to talk. I can make appointments and I can text Dave.
Oh, yay. Lucky me. So, so when you build up on your ice cream supply for getting your tonsils out, what kind of ice cream is your go-to ice cream?
I don't know. I'm not really an ice cream fan. I like butter pecan and peach. I'm going to stick to those Southern roots.
Okay. All right. All good. So the real reason we brought you on here today was to kind of catch up with you and see how you've been doing. And then also kind of give us your aspect of how the trucking industry what shape it's in as far as today is concerned.
I think from the last time we spoke, trucking, from my end, being a broker, and in that logistics part of it, it is great right now. These rates have dropped.
Yes.
Yeah, the trucks are plentiful. In certain areas, and produce is getting ready to just bloom.
Unless it's coming up across the Texas border.
Yes. Texas and Florida. Some of South Carolina is starting already.
Okay.
We've seen a big increase there. A lot of north, east want to go south. West Coast isn't getting there with us yet. But the rates are changing. It's like it's flipping on us. Yep. So I haven't been on the side a little bit of it. The truckers are still, I think they're worn out. I think these truckers are completely worn out. You just hear it in their voices, and they're just like at our mercy now, and have to.
Are you getting more business, or are you finding more business these days?
Yes,
as a broker,
and the ports are
more?
opening up.
Yeah.
So what we move is coming out of the ports, and it is just, every day we are just, like I said, I worked till 9 o'clock last night. We are busy. I've been going into work at 6 and working until about 7 every day. The meat is moving, the beef is moving. The ports are opening up. All of the containers that were locked on the ports, they're finally getting them declared and moved in.
Okay. All right.
And the trucks are seeing it.
So let's go back to what you mentioned. As far as in the trucker's voice, you just kind of hear a little bit of kind of where they're exhausted. Do you attribute that to just the way things were for like the past 18 months to 2 years, where it was just push, 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 go, go, go?
Yeah.
And now there's a bit of a, okay.
Yeah. And now there's like a little bit of, they can breathe a second, but they're so used to go, go, go that, like, let's say I have a truck at a shipper getting loaded and they're running late, like their dispatch will call me 4 or 5 times. Can you call them? Can you call them? Can you call them? And the shipper's so inundated with trucks because they're trying to get this product that just came off the ports in these trucks, because they're already have an appointment for them and they don't deliver till tomorrow. So their dispatch is just booking them back to back to back to back. And there's no wiggle room. There's no room for a truck breakdown. There's no wiggle room for if the shipper's late or if the receiver's not on time. And these receivers and shippers are worn out too. I hear when I call to make appointments, they're just like, okay, it's just everyone's worn out. There's a lot of product and not enough trucks.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Last week on the show, and I'm sure you listened to our show last week, we talked about, that there's like a 300% turnover in the truck driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, wow. So and you guys are fully staffed? Do you guys have any staffing issues, or are things well?
No, we're totally staffed. Well, we're, I guess, understaffed. We're actually trying to hire another person for our team, and everybody just needs that extra person.
Sure. Yeah, that's got to help. It's got to help.
And that's what I'm pushing to my daughter, as she's getting in. She's always wanted to go one way in life. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. She's always going to go in the medical field. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with being a blue collar if that's what you decide to do. She's actually taking a welding class next year. She went from nursing to welding. So
nice.
Well,
nice. We talk about that on the show.
I don't think we pushed that enough.
Well, Walmart.
I don't think we pushed that blue collar is it's okay for our children to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Camilla, you've heard that Walmart hiring drivers, right, for $110,000. Have you heard about this?
That's what someone was saying. I haven't had a chance to read it.
It was the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast show announced it last week.
You must not have listened to last week's show yet. So.
I think I did. Maybe that's where I heard it. I really promise.
That's where you heard it.
I've been so busy the past 2 weeks.
But you could put your earbuds in at work and listen to it. Just saying.
110,000.
Hit that subscribe and like button too.
And then,
but yeah, 110K.
So let's go back to this welding class. Are they offering that in her school then, is what you're saying?
Yes, they are. They are.
So see, that's the real world that we talk about and they don't offer. And I just think myself, and I hate to think about it this way, but liability. Her daughter is going to be opening up a torch. You know what I mean? Like that's huge liability, right?
Yeah.
They're desperately needed though.
Yes, 100%. They are.
Yeah.
We were talking about, how there's a need for everything.
Yes.
It's just the blue collar industry and, even in healthcare too. Yeah. And I'm not demeaning whatever she wants to do. If she wants to be a doctor, then I'll support it. And if I have to scrub toilets to make that happen, then that's what happens.
Dang.
If she wants to go dig ditches, then that's what, I'm going to support her as long as she's happy in life.
Yep.
She's done a 360. We really thought she was like, I'm taking a welding class. Like she was scared to tell us. And I'm like, why are you scared of that? If that's what you want to do, then go for it. If that's something you want to explore and learn, you have my backing 100%.
That's awesome.
That is good.
What were you going to say, 10?
Nothing. I was just saying, we just had kind of like the welding class and things that offered in school that they don't offer. We just had to sit down with the oldest boys. Like, no, you're going to do your taxes. You had a job last year.
make him do
this is things they don't teach you. This real world, how to budget your bills. You know, something happened with this card. I'm like, he has no clue about what's wrong. Right.
Or how to do your taxes.
Yeah. It's just simple items that day to day.
You know, I never thought about that. That's
laundry, cooking, starting an oven, how to, I hate to say this, shut the freezer door.
Exactly.
I mean,
turn the lights off.
It sounds so basic and easy to us now, but you've got to start these kids in school offering a real life class every year, every semester. Every kid as an elective must take a real life class. Let them pick, but make sure that class is available to them.
Yeah. Because we just teach everybody how to get in debt, right? And that should be a class too, is how to not be in debt when you become an adult, right?
Yeah. Yep. Well, it goes back to we talked about starting to train them on not really a truck driving school in high school, but similar to that, we're kind of like a shop class where you learn about a semi, you learn about, the dangers of a semi, why it's so big and powerful. You may respect that now as a driver, as a young driver. You're not the jerk that's just sitting in the blind spot of a semi. And realize what's going on, how to open that door, how to close that door. Those little things will make the younger generation more diverse when it comes to job skills versus being inside the box and saying, here's what I learned in college. This is the only thing I know. It's the only thing I'm going to do, versus how to think outside the box to do your job. Until we give those complete skills, right? So she went from nursing to welding, right? She's going to learn something completely different on the welding side than nursing. But what she learns there, she may want to go back to nursing, and that will be applied because of how she thought outside the box by developing those skills.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. And even when you were touching on trucks, if we could teach them how to distribute their weight evenly, that would be lesson 2. I would be up to teaching a class on that all day.
How many times have you heard truck drivers complain about a shipper loading their trailer and it's imbalanced, right? Where they're putting a 5,000 pound skid on the nose and a 200 pound skid in the belly of the trailer, right? Or overloading the back end of it.
It happens.
And the tandems and how they slide. There's so much that goes into that. It's math 101 that we're trying to teach these kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when you're paying someone on a warehouse $15 an hour on a forklift that you've trained them, just because they can run a forklift doesn't mean they know how to load the freight.
Right.
Exactly. They spend more time on forklift training than they do on how to load that freight properly.
That's true.
Well said. Yeah. That is well said. You're listening to the
This is my month to be on call. We take turns being on call. I had a call at 3 a.m. one day last week. A gentleman was over. He's like, I'm 49,000 pounds. And I jumped up, opened everything, and said, there's no way. This product weighs 38,000 pounds. There's no way. He had a whole extra axle under his truck, come to find out. Like, I had to talk him into telling me why his truck was so overweight.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, you need to explain to me. I'm like, I called the shipper. We're on the phone at 3 in the morning discussing how 38,000 pounds has turned into an extra 10,000 pounds. And I always add for packaging, pallets and packaging weight. I always add 2 extra 1,000 pounds to anything I put on a truck because that's just common sense. And so you tell them, hey, this is how much this product weighs. And I'm like, how have you never realized you had 4 extra tires under there and a whole extra axle?
Right.
And he's like, never had problem. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
But it took me 2 hours to explain to a gentleman who's been in trucking, he said, for 5 years, that's not going to work.
What was
are
he
they
pulling?
teaching them in trucking?
Yeah, well, they're not. They're teaching them how to drive it. That's all they care about. They're teaching them how to drive it. They're not teaching them the weights and the distribution. And I bet there's less than one class and I don't know. This would be Williams. This would be his kind of cup of tea. What do they teach him in class? Do they teach him about how you can move the weight with the sliding of the tandem? Do they teach him about a tandem tractor versus a single axle? Do they teach him about the weight distribution? Because that's important. You talk about rollovers.
It's very important. It's very important.
Talk about fines too, right?
Yeah.
Fines?
Yes, big fines. It depends on the state, but yes, when they pull you over in the roadsides, we've all seen them where they say trucks get in this lane and they pull you over. You're overweight. They pick you and weigh you.
Right.
then that's fine.
So Camilla, overall though, your business is picked up, right? Because typically when the economy gets soft, the brokers get heavier. It's usually how it happens.
We're doing amazing. I think everybody is. We have a couple have already hit, the $1 million mark by March.
Nice.
That's great.
Wow, that is nice.
Yeah.
So you're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen show. We've got Hall of Famer Camilla Woods on the line. It's always good to catch up with Camilla. She's got a little bit of a sass to her. We'll chalk that up to being from the South or whatever. So what else what's new in Elkins, West Virginia? Anything going on new there or?
No, it's just we're getting ready for graduations and proms and just the normal life. This is really a little small town in West Virginia. I love it here. So peaceful. We're right near snowshoes. So that's flipping. Everybody will start riding the rafts now. They go from skiing to being river rats. So
that's good.
And the fishing begins, right?
What'd you say?
The fishing begins.
Yeah. And that's it. We're just surviving, I guess you'd say. We're just, it's the normal spring stuff, Easter egg hunts, and I think there's a big one downtown. The kids were scrambling around here. My niece was here. She's from night, and my stepdaughter's here. So everybody's running around, getting ready to go do that, and then we'll have Easter dinner tonight, and that's it.
Do they still put pennies and dimes and Easter eggs, or is that like now dollars and $5? Where are we at now?
I think it's probably $5. I know our church asked for candy and ones.
So no longer are we giving up the quarters, nickels, and dimes.
No,
and my grandma used to put pennies in ours, so I'm just saying.
Yep. My grandpa used to put
we went to a local dinner, little pub, I guess you'd call it. And they had an adult Easter egg hunt. That was fun. We got bottles of liquor and
hell yeah,
that's a big egg to fit that in.
Well, the little mini shot bottles.
Yeah,
and
the little airplane. Nice.
That's pretty good.
I'm gonna steal that. I'm doing that next year. I love that.
Nice. Yeah.
Bunch of airplane bottles and eggs, and let the adults go after it.
It's a dinosaur
That's what
egg.
we did. We went to a little pub and they had an adult Easter egg hunt. They had coupons for like burgers and stuff, $5 off or free burger, and then shot bottles. Yeah,
I think what I make them do though is when you find that, you must shoot that right then and there. You don't put that in your Easter egg basket.
Yeah, right.
No, I like that idea.
The only thing in your Easter egg basket is your chaser. You're one chaser. It don't matter what liquor it is. That's what you're chasing.
With you and you just go around with
that.
There we go.
It's going down. Mm-hmm. It's going down up in the Village next year.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now.
That's right.
So Camilla, it's been nice catching up with you. You're more than welcome to stay on if you want. It sounds like you got a lot going on, and we can understand
I have to go start cooking.
Yeah,
I'm going to have an angry family.
So before
I'm going to go put this ham in the oven.
Before you go, Camilla, before you go, can you give us hey, this is Camilla, and you're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen show? Can you do that for us?
Yeah.
On 3, 2, 1.
This is Camilla, and you're listening to Ship's Gonna Happen.
There we go. Nice.
All right.
Well
Y'all have
done.
a great weekend. Dave, I'll be in touch with you Monday. You be prepared and no sarcasm.
Happy Easter to you.
Yes.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Take care. See you,
Dave,
Camilla.
have a little bit of enthusiasm, young man.
Yes, ma'am. Sure. You're the best.
I
Camilla.
can break her
Y'all
on.
have a great time.
You too. Thank you.
We need her on more often to give him more crap.
There we go. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we do need her on more often.
right.
It was good to have Hall of Famer Camilla Woods back on.
Like last week, I was giving Jeremy crap a bunch, right?
Yes.
This time,
there we go.
now the guest is giving you crap. I love it.
So it's good to hear that her health is a lot better than what
absolutely.
I thought. Because originally
man.
we thought she thought that she had a heart attack. So it's good to hear it was just her tonsils at 46 years old. So
No, good stuff though.
Yeah.
I always like talking to her. Hey, let's get into topic number 1 here, right? That's David's favorite intro. We'll do it again. All right. So topic number 1. Are we headed into a recession? So researching topics this week, I stumbled upon a few brilliant articles. This one here I pulled out, written from Tommy Kilgore from Market Watch, which is an internet site that watches stocks and transportation and just about every stock you can think of. But here's what the Bank of America has downgraded 9 transportation stocks, including UPS, which suffered their 8th straight decline. So what they're saying is we are destined to a freight recession, and that's usually the first sign of a recession in the economy, right? The trucking. So trucking companies are seeing a decline in volumes, right? And I can admit that we're seeing that a little bit. It's not as heavy as it was. We're still busy.
But is it just this time of year is why we're not as heavy?
No.
Typically it's picking up now.
Typically, yeah. The maybe the January, February might be slow, but this time's usually hammer time because you're resetting the retail market's resetting, the farmers are resetting. So usually it's the busiest now. Dow Transport sell-off may be a warning of something coming that's more of a micro speed bump. Might not be a micro speed bump, but a macro. So the risk of freight recession is rising and likely inevitable for the industry where capacity additions, that's what's funny, where capacity additions always overshoot demand and rates are still near an all-time high, but they're seeing rates start to get competitive again in the marketplace, which is another sign, right, that there's some things going on. So just to give you an example, they downgraded UPS by 0.45 0.5%, but they raised their projections on some of the brokers, which they say in here that generally if the brokers are starting to gaining a lot, then that means the trucking companies are not, they're losing that, right? Because of their rates.
They're getting clamps.
Exactly. So SI is down 4.41%, TFI is down 3.21%, ArcBest -1 been downgraded by Bank of America, Canadian Pacific Railroad. But what's weird is Union Pacific Railroad was upgraded on stock. So that might be domestically, we're going to put more on the rail, right, through the recession.
Is there room to do that?
Yeah, I was going to say is maybe part of that because there's still port issues that nobody discusses.
Yeah,
they're not big. I mean, they're not as severe as they were.
But there are infrastructure problems still, right? With it. Yeah, you're right.
And because we're in week 3 lockdown in China as far as nobody doing anything.
Yeah,
and that's just going to add later.
Yeah. So they talk about that.
So my thing is, it means everything else we're moving a lot more on rail. That's what's going on. So we're down drivers, so you move a lot more on rail. And I'm going to tell you right now, the rail is just completely ridiculous. So
it's late.
The Canadian rail being downgraded, but the American rail company being upgraded tells me that America is starting to say, you know what? We're moving everything on rail that we possibly can because customers are accepting late shipments because they have no other choice.
Right.
And anything gets on the rail, I would probably say
can't stop it.
Yeah, once it's on the rail, you're done, right? Yep. And everyone uses it in the industry.
It's a good point, man.
So there's nothing you can do. And I think the rail percentage, honestly, on time rail percentage right now is probably around in the 30s.
Oh wow!
I'm not.
Probably right.
I'm being serious. And every company uses it. You have to.
Yeah, and if you know it's on the rail, like you said, you're okay with it's probably going to be late.
There's your customer. Yeah. What do you want me to do? It's at the railhead. What do you want me to do? We're at the mercy of them. Mm-hmm. So, so why are they? So brokers, you're saying, are busier. So because they're buying power.
Yeah, here's what he says. Yeah, and because it's a good point, because it's really made me think about, because I've noticed that, when the downturn of the economy in 08, 09, right, the 3PLs grew like mad, and the trucking companies had to play games with them, right? Yep. So he cut 14 pricing stocks, targets, including UPS, but he upgraded C.H. Robinson to overweight from neutral, which is a good market, 117 from $92. So he says C.H. Robinson, according to Ossenbeck, the company could take market share in a downturn freight market and expand margins, as it had repriced more than half its contracts just before the rates dropped. So that was another thing too. They had new contracts put in place. So, but that's, I mean,
what's a 3PL for, right? The 3PL is for the companies that don't have traffic managers. And I've talked about this multiple times. Mm-hmm. They're starting to get rid of those jobs because we're so short on people in the industry in general. So you cut the traffic manager that you think is just negotiating your rates, and that's about all, and working out service issues. That's just the higher level of thinking. You go to the 3PL. 3PL comes and sells. Here's what can happen. I'm going to negotiate your rates. You don't need that salary job anymore. I can get you better rates, and I'm going to give you a platform to use and a whole worldwide customer service to use that they really don't use, right? They always go to the carriers anyways. And that is the big sell of a 3PL. So now you're going to mom and pop that don't want to worry about dicking around with their rates or trying to shop their own rates. They just go to them and say, I'll take what you got, because they're not getting anything better from the carriers.
Yeah.
So therefore, they're going to use that as their leverage, and the company's margins come down as far as asset base.
Yeah.
And it's going to take the companies with the assets to push the 3PLs back out.
I know. David, do you think you get more phone calls from 3PLs in a good market or a bad market?
So that was going to be part of my topic today. So, but yeah.
Well, let's get into topic two.
We can swing it.
Or however we want to, however we want to look at it. Like in the last 2 weeks, probably the calls have increased tenfold. Emails and people that kind of came out of the woodwork. There's like certain people that just, like I got from a person that I feel like I know, I got a generic solicitation email like, oh, hey, how about doing business with XYZ company? And I'm like, can you at least act like you know who I am after all these years or whatever, instead of, this solicitation email is not going to get you anything. But anyway, there's people kind of coming out of the woodwork, and it's tenfold people looking for business now. So a year ago, nobody was looking for business.
Here, we'll get into yours then.
But are you done, Tony?
Well, I think that was.
If you had some other articles or whatever, if you
it was all. It was all just the same stuff. It was really essentially Bank of America, JP Morgan, all the big people that look at our market.
The Bank of New Pal.
The Bank of New Pal.
So let me ask you this: the bank. So you use Bank of America. When they're downgrading those particular companies, are they invested in those companies? Is that why they have their own analysts?
I'm not sure if they're invested in it or if it's just their analysts telling their people that are looking at those stocks. They might be invested in it, but I think they're just looking at the market sectors and seeing it and telling their stockholders, maybe not to invest in those or whatever.
Along with their own internal stock brokers that invest for you and I. You're pretty smart at stocks, but myself, I got no daggone clue. So I allow someone else to do the investing, and they're probably giving them the heads up. Say, hey, maybe we don't want to put so much money in the trucking industry. We may want to move those monies elsewhere. Yeah,
and it goes back to what they were saying is it's the first sign of a recession coming is to see what's going on with, UPS is a big gauge, right?
Well, yeah. And you said it before, is that everything in trucking we see first. We know what's happening in the economy. We can predict the economy based off trucking volumes, up, down, margins, and things like that. You said that multiple times, and you've been in this industry a lot longer than I have. So it's interesting that now people got your back now.
Yeah. It's happening. And then, so that's Bank of America, Chase, JP Morgan, Seeking Alpha is a good place to look at stocks.
Never heard of them.
They're big, and they've been tracking it too. I read an article last night. They're saying the same thing, that they downgraded the same carriers in their stocks. Yeah, unfortunately. And then I think what David will tell us here is an example of that. And it seems like, the carriers like we work for have to deal with the 3PLs to keep and maintain volumes, right?
Oh yeah.
To maintain the lanes running so they've got to play the game, which then may affect mine and your getting local accounts because there's an imbalance of that. So, but I'm interested to hear what Dave says about it here. We'll get into David right now. Ready, David?
Yeah, I'm always ready. So kind of looking over, one of the main thing I wanted to talk about today was the truckload rates. And I've seen them drop. The first word that comes to my head is sharply, and I'm not so sure that sharply is the right word, but there's definitely been in the last couple of weeks, a big decrease in some carriers with truckload prices. I priced out some lanes on some potential business earlier this week, and I call them really good rates now. We're a couple, about 12 months ago, they wanted $2,500 to move it. Now it's down to about $1,400 or $1,500. Nice. And we still have, and one of the things that's still important is diesel fuel is still really up there close to $5 a gallon. So we're seeing those rates and knowing that fuel is where it's still at is kind of nice to see, hoping that once fuel comes back down, and these rates might even decrease a little bit more. So you're starting to see things get back to normal just a little bit. And it's really good, especially on my end of the business, to see that. So it's just, hopefully this trend continues. And like Camilla mentioned this in our phone call with her, is that out west, it's not happening yet. It's happening a little bit, but it's not happening to the extent that you're seeing it locally, and then also down to the south. So it's just nice to see these rates kind of going down.
Yeah, I think it's going to get more competitive in the marketplace for business, right? So that's what you're seeing if you got all these people calling you wanting your truckload rates and all this stuff. So
one of the things, like going back to your topic just a little bit, I kind of brought up just as an example, one of the LTL carriers. Yeah, I have Tony on my screen.
Tony, make sure you're real quick, because sorry, folks, we're new on the video. We're trying to record video to upload. Is yours on gallery view since you're recording?
Yes, it is.
So you got all three of us up there?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't have that. I was like, man, we're only recording David B here.
It's on gallery.
He's the face of the show. Here we go.
We're in big trouble then.
My bad. Go back.
Yeah, I've got y'all three on here.
I just now realized that. What are we, 50 minutes into the show?
You got to now set up like this.
Yeah.
So one of the LTL carriers 6 months ago, their stock was about $375 per share. Now it's $199. And
what?
Yeah. So that to Tony's point on his topic, that this shows exactly what you're talking about. A little bit of the recession,
it's here,
where the market is kind of reflecting what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, but that's just one example. I only brought up one example.
The worst part about all this right now is that, in 08, 09, when the last recession we had, we didn't have an inflation rate this high. And the inflation rate is extraordinarily high. It's the highest it's ever been in our nation.
4 years, whatever they say.
Almost 11%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some say it's really 15 because they changed the way they do it mathematically from 08. So it seems like every president, no matter who they are, changes the numbers to benefit them so they're not as bad. That really started probably the Bush years, where the unemployment rate, where they tweaked those numbers to look better. And then it seems like every one of them does that. Yeah. So we added it up last week. Remember all the 14% increases in food prices, right? So that's got, and gas is double what it was from 20.
So 1 year ago at the Great Divide, prime rib dinner, 2 sides and a dessert, $25. We go in last night. Of course, things have definitely changed. $32.95.
Yeah.
So, So just, and understandably so.
I mean, a cigar just a couple years ago was $4. Things like $8-9 now. I mean,
we just went to Texas Roadhouse.
I love that place.
I know, always busy, but we went probably Wednesday night, and I love the prime rib. I'm a big prime rib guy, and normally it's like the 12 ounce is like $14.99, and then like the most expensive one's like $21.99, the big 16 ounce or whatever. First off, they didn't have my rare, so I didn't get it. But the 12 ounce was $21.99 now.
Oh my God. So that took over the price of the.
And they don't even give me damn peanuts anymore. Let me have a conversation.
Wait, they stopped the peanuts?
Well, COVID, they moved them into bags, individual bags you take to your table. They got rid of all that.
You're kidding me. I didn't know that. I've been there
peanuts at all.
We did not see the peanuts.
Sons of bitches. No peanuts
at all.
So peanuts.
So 2 weeks ago, we talked about going to St. Elmo's. Our 14 ounce ribeye is $95 per ribeye.
Holy cow.
St. Elmo's. Yeah, exactly. That was crazy.
I had a filet down in Florida that normally at that place we eat at was typically, it's like $45. It was $65. Wow. Yeah, for a filet. Look, 6 ounce filet. Well, and I cook them better.
Yeah, let's fire up Chef Tony's grill. Amen. Yeah.
But that's why you see the truck prices have gone up so much. Right. First off, the supply is down.
Right.
And they know that. And then the demand is still just as high as it always has been. And your truck prices have gone up,
Big time.
And so for you to say that you've seen the prices, and I have too in the last week or so, you're right. They've dropped tremendously. And I think to Camilla's point is the capacities that drivers are now ready to handle a little bit more. And maybe that's the initiative of everyone getting back in the saddle now. you know, which is a good sign.
Back in the saddle again. It's a good song.
Peterbilt.
Yes.
Peterbilt.
Yeah. So it's nice
stuff
to see these rates coming down, and it makes me, want to shop as much stuff around more often than I normally do or whatever. So it's really good to see these rates, and I kind of hope that this is kind of the way things continue.
David's the purchaser, and Tim and I are the seller.
My favorite, I think David B's new dance move should be the shopping cart. Pick it. Pick it.
Yeah.
Put it back. Put it back.
Yeah.
Put it back. No.
3 for $5.
There we go. Yeah. Oh, man, that's funny.
Truckload rates are down, but I feel like LTL rates are not.
Kind of maintaining a
they're-
little bit still.
they're even.
And I'm going to chalk
If not up.
in my head, I'm going to chalk that up to that, just mainly that fuel surcharge still not coming down. So,
Right.
And
That's
it
crazy.
can't. I understand, but
I think the truckload side's first, right?
Okay.
And then the LTL side will follow here shortly.
Yeah, but truckload's still 90% fuel.
I know.
I mean,
I
half
know.
of what
Yes.
you're
I
paying
know.
for
Yes.
is all fuel.
I know.
Yeah. I got a rate from one of my big companies the other day to go to Huntington, West Virginia but like I said, the cost I mentioned earlier, like for $1,400. And I'm like, hell yes. I mean, and that weighs into our pricing, how we price that, because we pass all these costs along to our customers. So it's good to see these costs coming down, and hopefully, like Tim mentioned, the fuel's still at 90%. How much more are they going to come down, hopefully, once fuel drops?
Yeah, I mean, if we open up.
I don't know if it. So fuel will come down. There's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
But so that $1,400 run, so $600 of it is fuel.
Yeah.
And that's probably just breaking even if you think about that in a truck.
Mm-hmm.
Going from here to
that's
Huntington,
a
that's
good point.
probably
Yeah.
breaking even.
With
Yep.
fuel, yeah. And that's probably squeezing out. Sorry, Dave, go ahead.
No. I was going to just go off tandem a little bit, because when those Huntington drivers come to the window, I always ask if I can ride along.
Oh, yeah, get in there and take a little vacay.
They tell me no.
I used to say that on the roadway dock.
Tell me
Could I
no,
get
creeper.
If I get in the back of this 721 Miami trailer
Oh, yeah.
in a crate with oxygen and just hold out and wait until it gets there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need oxygen. I think I get plenty of air in there. That'd be all right.
Might need some cushions, though.
I think, and I know everyone here has probably drove to Florida. At least I know you have. Have you drove to Florida?
No, I've flown to Florida. I've never drove.
When you
smart.
go from Atlanta to Florida, it's a little bit warmer. When you hit the Florida border, you can feel the sauna inside your vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So in the back of a semi, you have no clue where you're at. You'd be doing some of the up and down, the back and forth, left to right in Kentucky and Tennessee.
You know that, right?
And then the time you wake up in Florida, you're like, damn, it's hot here. Open the door up, right? So you would know in the back of that dark semi where you're at, where you're at.
You're smoking.
Be smoke. And if you've ever been inside of a trailer, just up here, I can't imagine down there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But July and August on a dock inside of a trailer, you are melting.
Some pharmaceuticals will melt in the Midwest in trailers.
1988, when I started on the dock at General Foam Plastics, I was super, super skinny and stayed that way because my ass was on the dock the whole time in those hot ass trailers.
Yeah.
At 7 a.m, it was hot.
Even here, the dock would sweat, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You're like, where's this coming from?
Yeah.
I've never seen anything. And then
Did we throw sawdust down? Is that what we said?
like a cornmeal, sawdust, corn. That's just nasty.
In case the floor sweat.
Well, they would. And
Is that why?
And they would
Is
slip.
that why?
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
would
Tow
slip.
it down.
Yeah.
Keep it from slippery.
Yep. Okay. The condensation.
Yeah. It was weird.
The moisture coming out of the
Condensation.
concrete. That's what it is.
That word has 3 syllables in it.
Hey, David B.
Oh, 4 actually. I can't even count. That's a 4-syllable word.
Tony B is looking at his board to see what kind of background he can give to you on
exactly. Well, boom. Well done.
So I want to go back real quick on the 3PL. I feel like the 3PL solicitation is just phone only. I don't feel like they have many boots on the ground.
No boots on the ground. No, you're right.
And I think you lose that relationship. I tell you right now, I had over the month of March, we had, internally we had some issues that we were working through. We had a lot more lost freight or late freight. And I had a lot of customers reach out to me because they would call the customer service center and they would say, okay, here's your rep's number. Not being smart enough, unfortunately, I shouldn't say smart enough, but not looking all the way into it and saying, okay, you're not the payer. call C.H. Robinson. They're the only ones that can talk to us. They can only go to your rep.
Yeah.
So my role became more of a customer service, track and tracing, and trying to find freight for someone that wasn't paying us direct.
I hate that.
And I had the conversation with many of them. I will do you a solid this time, but moving forward, you need to call this person, allow that rep to go, because at the end of the day, you can't bring your Samsung TV back to Target if you bought it at Walmart.
Right. Exactly.
It's true.
You just can't do
It's
it.
a good analogy.
We both sell the daggone same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing that work for you. I'm not putting it back on my shelves. I'm not accepting a return. We both do business, but we all do it differently. And until the carriers, the asset base, take it by the balls and tell these 3PLs or the sad part is you're not telling the 3PL that. You're telling the customer that.
Right.
And the customer don't give a damn.
Right.
No.
They don't know that the person that's looking for their shipment, the purchasing manager that didn't make the call to use a 3PL, doesn't know that. And for you to say, hey, yeah, it's on our trucks, but I don't give a damn about you.
Right.
You can't really do that. The only thing you can say is, yeah, we're the asset, but you really paid them. So I'm not even allowed to talk to you about
this.
And
I think the 3PLs sometimes tell them, you can still contact your rep. You can still
Absolutely.
use your rep.
Why would they not?
Call them and it's all good. We're not really stealing anything.
Why not?
I know.
Why would they not? I mean, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's a great model. It's just the asset base has got to take charge of that and got to cut these guys out.
Thought they did a good job there for a while during the COVID crisis, and we think we niched back at them. And,
I think so too. We went with a lot of price increases because we knew what we could offer with sales reps, with boots on the ground, and that local. I tell you right now, I think we've got a lot more local customers now out of it because we've provided as an asset-based company. But now they're starting to get back in there, and then guess what they're trying to do? Cut price. Cut price.
So do you up your price for a 3P when you guys are submitting pricing and you know it's a 3P? Do you
I think they strategically did. Yeah, they strategically.
But do you still, I guess?
I don't know. I would imagine in some cases, depending on what the freight is.
But as Tony said, it's a slippery slope. So let's say the 3PL market probably owns, what do you think, 30% of the whole market share?
Probably, yeah.
So we do 30% and you're doing on your trucks, just use that same average. On your asset base, it's 30% 3PL. If you shave it too much, you lost 30% of your freight. Now you can't fill your runs to move them.
Yeah. Right.
Even though we're short on drivers, there's a very slippery slope on what is too much. 0.5% may be too much when 3PL moves their business. So that is above my pay grade, but I'm with you.
So you got a big 3PL out there that we all know that's $5 billion. Yeah. They're as big as some of the carriers, right?
Correct. So bigger.
If a carrier needs freight on a lane to Arizona, whatever, California, all they got to do is, like you just said, move it 0.5% for that 3PL, and bam, they've got quicker than you and I can go find it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, and
they're not pay for it.
No, they're doing blanket rates. I just talked to someone and I'm like, look, I can't show you this. They weren't signed up. There's no LOA on file, which, by the way, if you are one of those traffic managers, never sign an LOA. They will still give you pricing for a 3PL without the LOA. If you sign an LOA, you're locked in.
It's silly.
And then it takes, on the asset side, it's a headache to get you removed from that 3PL. So you don't need an LOA signed for them to represent you and get rates. They can still do it and they know it, but that's their hook, line, and sinker. And a lot of other, now you see just software based where they're just charging you 10%. So if you use my software, I'm going to load your direct rates in there and I'm going to charge you 10%. That way you can keep shopping. Yeah. That's the new tactic, I think, is technology.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're right. Yep. That's where it's heading.
So truckload rates are kind of coming down a little bit, and it's a nice thing to see, especially, that's when I saw those this week. I'm like, there's my topic.
So, all right.
Do you think, let me ask you about that truckload rate. So I feel like volumes in the LTL network were kind of shaved. A lot of people were getting rid of volumes, limiting the amount of space you're allowed to take with the shipment, which pushed everybody into the truckload market. Yep. I feel like the LTL is down a little bit right now to where LTL is allowing those to creep back in their market. That opens up truckload space.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. I am seeing certain LTL carriers starting to go back to taking more volume LTL shipments at a very good and competitive rate. And so we're automatically going to give it to them. So that leaves out that truckload carrier.
And that opens capacity, which now has to drive rates down because that guy wants to fill up from there. He's not going back empty.
Yeah, that's a huge help.
Watch this say her. Could be a her. I'm sorry.
I really don't want to see a recession though, man. I hope it doesn't head to that because it just gets nasty, right? It just gets stupid.
For everybody.
Yeah, it does. And gosh darn, I hope not. But anyway. So David B, thanks, man. For that topic.
No problem.
It's interesting.
Listen to the Ship's Gonna Happen for the transportation.
There it is. Boom. So we want to
How
get
about
into
this video real quick. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, we're recording it today. We'll go live eventually with it. We're just trying to test it out to make sure if we got all the kinks worked out.
If you're new to our show, thanks for listening, and then click that like button and click subscribe.
Oh, what I was going to tell
please.
you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm done. That's
Hit subscribe. I'm sorry, David. Talk
all right.
Do it one more time, David. Let's
do it
hear
again.
All right. So those of you that are new to the show, we appreciate you listening. You're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen show. You can find us on YouTube. Please click that subscribe button and click like and share our video and kind of help us get our word out. We've got some people that are helping us do that, and it's made a big difference for us.
So YouTube, I got a message from them. We're big movers in YouTube now.
Oh,
so
big movers.
Explain that. Can you explain that?
We've hit 1,000 views, right? So I didn't notice it right away.
So total.
That's a big, that's
total of all of our videos.
We're ahead of that now, but when we hit 1,000, they basically sent me a thing saying, hey, you've hit your 1,000. Congratulations. People are watching you, and we're up on subscribers big time. Nice. So the bar graph was like this on views and like this on subscribers.
It is weird how the views go. And like 2 shows ago, we were at like 60, and the last show it was at this. And then like we were at 10 and then it dropped down to 9.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did we drop?
We lost our transportainment.
That's
what it was. We were down on transportainment.
Right.
Somebody got kicked out of the transportainment zone. But it did say 10 at one point. Like right away it said 10.
Yeah.
And then it
dropped.
It went back to like 5.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, man, but seems to be getting more. And David's been getting us some interviews via
good peoples too.
Yeah. So
I'm excited for next week. I'm really excited.
We got 2 Walmart drivers on next week. So
one out of Seymour, Indiana, and the other out of Gas City, Indiana. And they offered themselves to come here to be in studio, which was very nice. So
cool. I probably won't be, but maybe dial me in.
Yeah,
I'll be on my road.
Awesome.
I've got to go down. We'll see. I'm supposed to go down to Nashville for some friends' 40th birthday party. So
we can
trying to squeeze that in, but I'll be on the road in the morning because if we do it, which we haven't committed to, we haven't bought a hotel yet, but we'll be leaving about 7 a.m.
Is it just you and the woman?
Just me and her, yeah. So we're going to go down for one night. They're going down for all weekend. They're leaving like Thursday or Friday, I think. And we're going to try to squeeze one day with the little one. And
let's do that.
Yeah, I might hear in the background.
That's
maybe
okay.
A little bit
no, he's staying up here with the in-laws. So
okay, nice. A little getaway. That's good.
Getaway. Mama and Daddy gonna go get drunk.
Getaway, nice. So you ready to get into random thoughts?
Oh
yes.
yeah.
I don't have one, but we'll figure something out.
Oh, you better come up with something.
I'm working on it.
Easter weekend.
David B, hit us with a random
thought. So I coming over, I was trying to think of something, and I just what do I have? It was going to be lame.
This sounds very random.
Of all random things,
extreme random thoughts.
This one was extremely. Yeah. So this is very random. So I know you use Waze. Do you use Waze? Have you updated your Waze app? Have you updated your Waze app?
What do you mean update? I just used it yesterday.
I
use Waze every day.
I got a good story for you.
So now you can pick your little car, who you are going down the road, and you can also pick the voice that comes out of the Waze. And so mine now is like a 70s radio DJ.
Hey, like, David B, there's a stop up ahead
here or whatever. Yeah. So it's kind of neat. So I just didn't know if you update your Waze app.
I don't get all into that. I just let it tell me what to do.
But it's different than hearing turn left. Just something different. I
typically don't even listen to the voice part of it.
Yeah.
I use it more for cops.
For traffic, for the traffic purposes.
So on the way down to Florida, when we got in Florida, I've been a big Google Maps person.
Yeah, okay. Too.
Sure.
So for some reason, Anne does hers too and like helps navigate at the same time. And it's like, So then hers is ahead of mine, right? So I'm like, screw this Google Map crap. I go to, was it Wazi or Waze?
It's Waze.
So I was calling it Wazi.
Yeah.
So I go to Waze and I downloaded it and I fall in love with it. So I started watching it the whole way and it was telling me, get your points. Is that cop still there? It's asking, is they still there, right? So then on the way back, I guess maybe I had an update on my Google Maps. So on my way back, now Google Maps asks you the same thing.
Yes, now you can add what they call it. They don't call it a cop. You can't make it a police.
Right,
speed trap. Speed trap.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, my apologies.
So no one in this room uses MapQuest with the printed out directions.
Oh my God! Remember that was the thing. That was the big thing back in the day, man.
I got on MapQuest 2 weeks ago. It is the slowest website you ever been on in your life.
Back in our day, it was
somebody's
riding shotgun with a paper map.
The Atlas?
Yeah, it's Atlas.
Oh, yeah.
Roadway used to give out those big roadway.
Yeah.
I got like 10 of them I saved. I mean, back in the day, that was such a great thing to be a kid in the back seat looking at that, right?
Yeah.
Going, Dad, where we're going to be next? And they tell you, and you're like, man,
but
you're
it's
mapping
only
it out.
this far on the map. How come we're not there yet?
Exactly.
What's going on?
Took forever.
Yeah.
But
So my Waze app was intrigued, and as like Tim mentioned, I really only use it for traffic reasons, not to get where I'm going or whatever. But
so I typically navigate. I have two phones, so I navigate with Google Maps, and I Waze in the background to watch for police. That's what I use.
Yes. Yeah. So that makes sense.
Multitasking. All right, I got a random thought for you. Kind of. I think we asked this back during the Halloween. But at what point is a kid too old to find Easter eggs?
Oh.
At what point do you say, no, you're going to hide the Easter eggs?
Boy, the first number that pops in my head is 12.
12 is what's in my head, too.
12, yeah. 12.
A 12-year-old nowadays has a beard and children, all right? Like, you think they're going to be carrying around a cute little Easter egg basket? I don't know what the right number
My
is.
grandpa used to put $100 bill.
What?
Yeah, $100 bill in the plastic.
That's like
we
$1
would
million
fight
bucks.
to find it.
Is Grandpa still alive?
No, he
Does
passed
he want
away,
to adopt?
unfortunately.
No,
Unfortunately passed away.
Sorry.
So would you say that Halloween trick-or-treating is older than Easter egg hunting?
That's good.
Right?
That's a really good question. Which is older?
As in, do you still trick or treat at 13, 14, 12 years old, and you stop Easter egg hunting at 8, 9, 10 years old, or is it the same age? So if this was the last year for Halloween hunting, now to New Year, it's Easter, they're done doing any of that.
That's a good question. I think Easter egg hunting stops before the
I agree.
the Halloween, because
Yeah.
you can still, it's dark out on Halloween,
Right?
You can
And Halloween's more of a fun kind of
Teenage buddies
not that
can
Easter
get out.
egg isn't. Not that hunting Easter eggs, but
Depends
that's a
on what's in
completely
them.
different dynamic or whatever. But
Did you get the boiled ones? Did you ever hunt for boiled? Sometimes we get boiled.
I feel like my grandma they were colored or
Yeah, they
whatever.
were colored stuff.
Stickers
you mean
and
hard-boiled.
hard-boiled eggs, yeah.
Oh my god.
So one of those was a Shark Tank ideal, I think, the easy egg painting thing.
Oh
Have you
yeah,
seen it?
yeah. I've seen that.
That little piece of
We
crap
use
machine
it.
that costs like $12.99 or something. That thing was like a $100,000 ideal on Shark Tank, and now it's like a $50 million business.
Wow.
I believe it.
So they sell it like Christmas time, right?
Yeah.
You paint cookies, you paint egg. Like, it's a big
I think
thing.
we have one.
Yeah. Is it good? Does it work?
Ann does it, and Shelby used to do them. They get together and paint all this food and stuff. Ann does a bunch of cookies at Christmas. Good stuff.
So easy egg, whatever. So hey, happy Easter though.
Happy Easter.
It is the season. Not to get religious on you guys, but Good Friday's there for a reason. 2 days later, the good man himself rose from the dead. So happy Easter. Not trying to get religious on you guys, but I think it is a holiday that is overlooked for the reason behind it. So,
Good point, Tim.
So Tony, you want to go get some White Claws, or are you good?
White Claws? What's this about? This sounds random as can be.
I ran out of Coors Light.
While he was on vacation.
Yeah, I got escorted off the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Escorted?
Couldn't make it myself.
Them White Claws will do that to you.
So I started drinking
No laws when you're drinking White Claws.
Like, what are these? These are
Now they got the
good.
Surges.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Surges?
No.
They have like White Claw Surge or something. It's one of those brands, and they're 9% alcohol.
I haven't seen
So
I've ever
a friend
drinking
of
a White
ours,
Claw.
well, baby mama's best friend, comes over one day. She's drinking the Surges, and Lindsay's like, "Hey, you can't be doing that. You're gonna be falling down stupid." She's like, "No, you just drink less. You ain't gonna drink less. You're gonna drink the same amount at the same damn rate."
Yeah.
She ends up falling over, hitting her head.
So what are they? Say what are they again?
Surges.
Surges.
White Claw Surges.
Surges.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've not tried those. I didn't
like
see those.
9%.
Holy cow! 'Cause that's strong.
Right? I never tried a White Claw.
That's more than an IPA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
White Claw's not. It's not bad. It's not my go-to. It's not my go-to. But
We did a peanut butter and jelly shot last night,
Yeah.
and I was surprised that was a little bit better than what I thought it was going to be. It was the peanut butter whiskey, which is actually a liqueur. It's not a whiskey, and then whatever the jelly
screwball.
shot.
I think they
thing
have
was.
White Claw at Great Divide. I think I've seen them in
Probably.
that cooler
Probably.
there.
Yeah,
So
I
the
just never
bars
think
only-
of getting them.
The bars only offer like 2 flavors of the White Claw type stuff. And they're in the big cans. They're in the 16 ounces at most bars. When at the store, you can only buy the 12 ounces.
Oh yeah, I think Bud's got something too.
Yeah, the Bud Light seltzers.
Yeah, I've never tried one though.
I haven't either.
I'm not a seltzer guy. I've tried it. Just try it. It's so good. No, it's too bubbly. It tastes like champagne to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I had, back when I grew up, it was it Lima?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Zima?
Zuma.
Zima.
Wasn't it
Was it
Zima?
Zima?
Zima.
Zima.
So I bought those. I went to a party and I bought a 12 pack of those. And you got to buy 2 6-packs, right? And I used to be able to, I shouldn't say this, but in high school I could drink 20 beers, not a problem. And
Get it all started.
And so I bought 12 of those, right? I'm going to a party. I'm supposed to be home. It was the night before the race. I knew my dad was down on Georgetown doing his thing. Probably could get home before he got home with his buddies and go over there. And I'm pounding these like they're regular beers. They're so carbonated. I ended up throwing up nothing but white foam up in his parents' master bedroom.
Oh, man.
On the carpet.
Dang.
And it's just foam coming out of my mouth
Yuck.
from all the Zima.
Zima. I remember those. Those were nasty.
Discontinued in the United States in 2008.
What's that, Zima?
Yeah.
So were certs.
They did a
right? Remember those?
Are you
certs?
serious?
Yeah.
Certs aren't a
I do.
thing anymore?
Certs got
That
discontinued.
was my dad's thing. Certs. My dad,
Really?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah.
my dad was an alcoholic, and he had always had a package of certs with him to offset the,
Yeah.
the smell. Not that it worked, but he was,
Yeah, you can't find certs anymore.
so Zima came out. I'm almost afraid to say this.
You're on camera. There you go.
My bad. I forgot we were on camera.
You're good.
So anyway, Zima was introduced in 1993 and then discontinued in 2008 and came back for a brief run in 2017.
Does it say who owned them?
Yeah, that's the part I don't want to. I'm a little embarrassed to say. Coors.
Wow.
I'm not a Coors. I just gave away 2 cases of Coors Light. I
don't
didn't
like
know you
Coors?
guys drink Coors Light. I would have brought you guys the cases of beer. I gave them to a college kid.
What do you drink?
Coors Light.
I like Yingling Flights.
That's what I asked.
Mick
Oh,
Ultra
yeah,
or
yeah.
Bud Light.
You know what's good is I've been drinking
Lee
lately
Mac's
is
my favorite.
Stella.
Oh yeah, Stella.
Stella's
Good
good.
Stella.
Stella is good.
In the bottle?
Thursday when I was at the Great Divide, they accidentally gave me a bottle of Mick Ultra. That wasn't that bad either. And then we drank Mick Ultra on
It's the
draft
Irish Day, right?
at the St. Paddy's Day.
St. Paddy's Day,
That
eh?
wasn't bad
It
either.
was stellar. What a stellar day.
Yeah,
it was
That
great.
was a great day. That's a good freight day.
Dave had a hot flash.
I did.
Did you guys?
I did. I crashed.
Did you guys ever drink wine coolers?
Unfortunately.
I have tried them, but I'm not a big wine guy.
Purple Passion.
Purple Passion.
yeah.
Remember that one? I'm not a big wine guy, though.
I'm not proud to admit those things. But Purple Passion.
Dave's,
Zima, I was big on Zima too. Big on
were?
Zima.
Yeah?
You like that?
You
I
like that
did.
carbonate?
I did, but
you
I
eat your
wasn't
Coke
into
every
beer
day,
at
so-
that time. That was a point in my life where I wasn't drinking I was older when I finally got a taste for beer, and I just seen. I'm like, oh, this is good.
The Stroh's original,
they still sell Stroh's,
but the original formula was really good.
At the Moose Lodge I belong to, they have Stroh's.
Do they?
Mm-hmm. The only thing Stroh's are good for is if they're warm and you can bong them. Outside of that, I cannot get down.
They mess with your tummy too.
I know. Is it the thing to drink at the Wrigley? Is it Stroh's?
It's old style.
Old style.
Oh gosh,
yeah, that's a strong beer.
Never mind.
Old style. I've drank a lot of old style.
I got to have some better taste of that.
Matty Ice and I did a Guinness shot with something. Irish Carbon.
Irish Carbon
that sits right on your stomach.
I think there's so much old style in Chicago that they never even carded you. If that's what you had, they were like, just take it.
Yeah, here. Wow.
Good stuff. All right. So we went from Easter egg hunting to drinking beer. I mean, imagine that.
That's right.
Wow.
And I'd be drinking today, but I got driving to do. I got to.
Ship's gonna happen.
Take the lady up to get her eyes lasered on
today.
Yeah.
Oh crap!
Is it?
Good luck with that.
What's the? Is it?
She said I didn't look good anymore, so I said you need those fixed immediately.
That's right.
I said, girl, all this loving, you come on, man.
That's funny.
I'm gonna put a laser in them eyes so you can see a little clearer.
So is that LASIK then?
Yeah, LASIK. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
Cool. Hope it goes well.
All right, man.
All right, good show. Hey, I hope this thing recorded well too for the transportation.
To see us now, so hopefully we all met your expectations on our ugliness.
I think so too.
Wild beard. You need to get more of those on there.
I will.
Just saying.
I will.
Just messing with you.
Good Saturday morning, boys.
Shut up, Dave.
Ship's gonna happen. We are out.